Yes. Good evening. Welcome again to the Metaphysical Art Theater. The silence. The power is in the silence. Be still and know that I am God, you're told. If you've got something better to do, certainly be about it. I know about busy, 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 but you need to invest in yourself, for yourself. It's all attitude. The him, you doing, being, and having your ideal is with you. All the help you need, you're told, is nearer than hands and feet. Nearer than hands and feet. Well, I needed help. I said, well, I don't have time to sit and contemplate and meditate. I thought I needed to get things done, to push and shove. And then it was suggested to me that I do contemplation and meditation, but as I said, I had things to do. But there will be a time when you will find the time. Oh, there'll be a time when you'll know that it's time to deal with your own inner conversations, because where are they leading you, do you know? Well, they're creative. And as my teacher said so often, why get more knocks and blocks before you turn to turn within? You're the doer doing in your world of experiencing. You're thinking and feeling in your world of experiencing, and you're using the word, which is the power. You're speaking to yourself. Your self-talk is creative. What is your self-talk about? Well, you're doing so most of the time, but what are you saying? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Neville made it so crystal clear that imagining creates reality. Yes. Oh, I'm sure that you can figure how you would have done things differently, but this is a world of ideas, attitudes, and change. And you're given change your mind and change your world. And time after time, we're being told to feel after better than the best. Do so consistently, persistently, and you'll see the results first person. I know you're not paying attention all the time. Who is? But most are at least suspicious of the open door. I know most are looking for someone else to do for them that which they know in their own heart they must do for themselves, or at least they're suspicious of it. Well, right where you are. Those moments that you know, maybe just for a moment at a time, you know that you can do, you can be, because there is you can whatsoever that's already been provided. Well, gifts given by grace to all of us. Learn to turn to and open and quicken, as my teacher had said so often, what you find agreement with. This is about you investing in yourself for better visions, better adventures. And that's what everyone is looking for. Nothing changes until you change. And you change your mind, you change your world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's the story. That's a story for all of us. I was so delighted in hearing this, and I would say, oh, yes to that. And other times I would say, well, I know about that, but I really only knew about it. And that's the difference that makes the difference. It is knowing from. Double-mindedness, lazy-mindedness, yes, I do know how relentless that is, but it still won't stop you unless you let it. Well, it created for me a very big problem, because now I had to actually do something. I actually had to ask, believing, receiving, and you are doing so. You are about asking. You are about believing something, and you are receiving in your everydayness. It's up to you to change your mind and change your world. We're told, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And yes, you can do this. You're given to do so. Why not do so? To see so for yourself so. Well, to ever greater and greater degree, just keep it simple so you'll remember it. I can easily stand here and tell you what were good to be done, as my teacher had said, but doing it is another thing, I know. But it does take our insistence, our persistence. Well, my problem all along was I just keep forgetting. I knew what to do because I had agreed with it. I had to constantly be being reminded, and that was the reason why I made cassette tapes in the first place. Well, actually, they weren't cassette tapes in the beginning. There was a really big, heavy machine, but it served the purpose. And now you have these wonderful little cassette and DVDs and CDs that you can play over and over. Very handy. But I'd still forget again and again. So you go back to same old so quickly when you forget. The idea is to remember what you have agreed with. Well, I wasn't into the idea of just sitting around trying to figure things out. I wanted better, yes. I always wanted to be a better person. I didn't even know what a better person would be that I would be looking for, but I had a general idea. But a general idea is not precise enough. It is the moving in and thinking from, dressing your world, that you're told to dress your world. See it in imagination. You doing, being, having your ideal. It's dreaming the dream. What would it be like if it were my ideal right here, right now? That what I'm looking for is looking for me. I didn't recognize what was being shared with me. I knew I'd heard something worthy of my attention, so I did learn to listen often, and I did keep listening, and I listened long enough to convince myself to actually test, to actually act in faith to test what I said I believed. I can make a flowery speech and tell you wonderful stories of other people's successes. But what it really comes down to is as you think you are, not how you came to think that way, not why it is you think the way you think, but that as you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. Well, you're given to change your mind and change your world. That is the message nightly. If you change how it is you think, you will change how it is you're experiencing. That's the promise. And yes, it is that simple. I didn't say it was easy. It's just that we're so conditioned. But if you'll feel after him, you'll find him, you doing, being, having. Just be patient with yourself. Nothing changes until you change. You're told, change your mind and change your world. This is a world of ideas, attitudes, and change. And you're given, change your mind and change your world. Yes, simple, yes, easy. Well, no one else needs to know what you're doing. There's no need to tell anyone. As a matter of fact, at first, I suggest that you really just keep it to yourself. Find a quiet place. Yes, just feel after better than the best. Don't tell anyone what you're doing. Go in the bathroom, sit on the floor as I did. And I would use earplugs. Well, actually, at first, I used toilet paper. Just to have moments of silence, moments of peace, that I could actually focus on better than the best, because the story is very simple. As within, so without. Your world is coming through you. It isn't coming to you. Well, even for moments at a time, if you can be focused for even moments at a time, it's a reason for celebration, a celebration of life, a revelation of finding. Because of the little peeking beyond the portal, that was enough to convince me to do it again and again, with greater fervor, with greater expectations, because that's what it's about. No, it's not something that's an effort to do. If you feel it's an effort to do it, you're missing the idea. You probably is. You're just not doing it right. You're not being patient with yourself. This is about being lifted up. This is a self in self and risen drama for all of us. Well, the power is in the stillness, we're told. We're told, be still and know that I am God. I mean, that's quite a challenge. But it's really worthy of your attention to do so, and you can do so. That's the challenge to all of us. The message is very simple. What are you feeling after? Do you know? All things are possible to the imagination. All things are possible to him who believes. And the question is, do you believe the promises of God? And the answer I usually get back is, oh yes, I believe in God. But that wasn't the question. Do you believe God's promises? Reiteration and reiteration. That's the style for changing your lifestyle. To be continued. Thank you, and good evening.